Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to show you how you can set up teleportation using the XR interaction toolkit so that when you press up on the thumbstick it activates the teleporter and then you can navigate around your scene. Let's have a look. So I'm just going to quickly run through what we're going to be making. I'm just going to dive into VR quickly and we'll show you what we've got. As you can see, we're in our scene here. We've got our hands all up and running. These at the moment are using the direct interactors. But as soon as I press up on the thumbstick, it activates the ray interactor, which is acting as our teleportation. And that works on either controller, so I can do left or right. And then we can navigate around our scene using the teleportation anchor. We've also got a snap turn in there as well that's all up and running. So let's have a look at how we can put this together. It's very simple, got a very small script to write, and it's really just a question of toggling some bits on and off. So let's take a look. So the first thing we need to do is a little bit of jigging around in our hierarchy and our XR origin. So we're actually going to delete the hands that we dropped in there. We're going to remove those. And at the moment we've got a left hand controller and our right hand controller, which are set up to be using the line renderers. This is what how we left it at the end of last week's tutorial. Now we're going to be swapping between direct interactors and the ray interactors. What we're going to do is in our XR origin under our camera offset, let's go ahead, create empty. We'll do the right hand. Let's create an empty game object for the right hand and then create another empty object for the left hand. And for our left hand controller, which has got our XR controller and our XR ray interactor on it, we'll go ahead and rename this to left hand ray interactor. And we'll do the same for the right hand. So the one with the right hand that's currently got all the ray interactors on it and stuff, we'll go ahead and call that right hand ray interactor. So we've got the left hand ray interactor and the right hand ray interactor. And this is just renaming the default from when you're dropping in the XR origin. So then we want to put our left hand ray interactor into our left hand empty game object and our right hand ray interactor into our right hand empty game object. So now you've got these two empty game objects, one for the right hand, one for the left hand. Left hand's got the left hand ray interactor in it and the right hand's got the right hand ray interactor. And if you look under our XR controller, you'll notice we've got a model prefab we can drop in here. So we'll go to our VR hands, click on prefabs, and we'll drop in the right hand for it. So we're looking at the left hand at the minute, so we'll drop the left hand into the model prefab. And we'll do the same for the right hand ray interactor, the right hand under the model prefab section. So now we want to create our direct interactors. And to do that, all we're going to do is going to duplicate the right hand ray interactor, Control D, going to rename it direct interactor. And this is going to be our main one. We're going to pull it to the top and we're going to remove some components. So we're going to remove the XR interactor line visual. We don't need that. We're going to remove the line renderer. Don't need that. And we're going to remove the XR ray interactor. Remove that. So all we've got on this game object at the moment is the XR controller. And then onto this, we're going to add in our direct interactor. And we're also going to add in a sphere collider. This needs to be set as a trigger and its radius is going to be 0.1. And that sets up our direct interactor for our right hand. So do exactly the same for the left. Duplicate the ray interactor, rename it, and we're going to remove the line visual, remove the line renderer, and remove the ray interactor. Add in the direct interactor, and then we add in the sphere collider. Make sure it's trigger and 0.1. So that's the interactor setup. We've got a ray interactor under each hand and a direct interactor for each hand as well. But we don't want both to be running at the same time. By default, we want our direct interactors on. So there's nothing we need to change for there. These are all set up, ready to go. Under our ray interactor, we've got right hand ray interactor. We want to turn off enable input actions, like so. And we're going to deactivate the XR ray interactor. Just turn it off there. And we'll do exactly the same for the left hand. Go to the left hand ray interactor. We don't want to enable these input actions straight away. and we don't want the XR ray interactor, so we'll turn that off. So next up, what we're going to do is write a script that's actually going to toggle our ray interactor on and our direct interactor off when we press up on the thumbstick. So let's go ahead and look at creating that script now. So if you navigate to your scripts folder, right click, create, C# script, and we'll call this teleport toggle and hit enter. And then we'll go ahead, double click and open up in Visual Studio. Okay, so here in Visual Studio, this is actually going to be a really quick and easy script. We're going to start by removing the start and update functions. We don't need those. And we're going to start by adding in a couple of namespaces. So we're going to go using Unity Engine input system, because we're using the new input system. And we're also going to use the event system as well. This is what's going to power all the logic behind our script. So we're going to go using Unity Engine .events, like so. Then we're going to need a link to our input action that's going to actually toggle on our teleport. So we're going to say serialized field. This is going to be private. We are going to need to see it in the inspector, so that's why it's serialized. And this is going to be of the type input action reference. So a reference to the input action that we want to use to toggle on our teleporters. And we're going to give this a name of teleport toggle. And then we're going to set up our events. And these are going to be Unity events. So we're going to type public Unity event. And we're going to call this on teleport activate. And another one called public Unity event on teleport cancel. Now when our script runs, we want it to listen out for our teleport button toggle and its actions. We're going to type in on enable, and then our teleport button toggle when that action is performed. So when we press up on the thumbstick, it's going to fire off a method called activate teleport. We haven't written that yet, so we can highlight it with the mouse, control full stop, and generate method. And we're also going to need to listen out for when we've cancelled the teleport, or we've let go of the thumbstick. So we can say teleport toggle button action cancelled, and we're going to create another method in a second called deactivate teleport. And that one doesn't exist, so we can left click, control full stop, and generate that method too. So we've got the two methods just there. I'm going to take out these throw new not implemented exceptions. Don't want those. I'm going to put my activated above my deactivate. So we've got activate, deactivate the teleporter. So when the button is pressed, it's going to activate the toggle. When we let go, it's going to deactivate. So when we activate our teleporter, we want to fire off an event that says, hey, we want to teleport. And that's going to fire up our Unity event on teleport activate. So we can say on teleport activate dot invoke, and then that is literally it for the activate teleport. Our deactivate teleport, however, we don't want it to fire off straight away as soon as we let go of the button. We want to give ourselves time to teleport and for all the other scripts to run. So just below deactivate teleport, we're going to create a new method called turn off teleport. And in our deactivate teleport, the one which is linked to the button being cancelled, we're going to write invoke. We're going to write the name of our new method, which is turn off teleport. I'm going to copy that, Control C, Control V, and we're going to do it after a certain amount of time. And in this case, it's going to be 0.1 of a second. And then in turn off teleport, we can fire off that Unity event for cancelling. So we can say on teleport cancel dot invoke. And that is literally it for that script. So we can get rid of the namespaces we're not using. And all we've got here is a link to our input action, two Unity events, listening for those actions on enable, and then when we do press up on our thumbstick, it activates activate teleport, which is then triggering the event to say, hey, we want our teleport stuff to fire off an event, and it's going to do that. And we're going to hook all that up in the inspector in a second. And the same for deactivate teleport. That's going to send up a message to our turn off teleport method after 0.1 of a second to fire off the teleport cancel event. You can go ahead and make this neater by left clicking on the line under each method, press Control full stop, and then use expression body for methods. It's going to put that all on one line for us. just to keep this all nice and neat, we're going to create an on disable, and we're going to stop listening for these actions. Then we can copy and paste them and just say minus. We're not wanting to listen to those anymore. And to organize our code a little bit, we can create a region here. So hashtag region, and we'll call this input action listeners. And at where we want it to end that region, we can put hashtag and then end region, like so. That's not going to do anything other than create this little area of our code, which we can then minimize and expand just to make our code nice and neat and organized. So our input action listeners is just listening for the input actions. So that's all we need for our teleport script. Let's jump back into Unity and I'll show you what that's done in the inspector. It's now created these 2 teleport events. So back in Unity, our teleport toggle script is written and it's all here. Once that's compiled, we're going to go and drop it on the parent object with the right hand. It's like so. So it's the right hand here, the main object, and underneath it you've got the direct interactor and ray interactor. Make sure that script is on the parent object to the right hand, and then the left hand, drag and drop your script onto there. Now our script has these 2 Unity events in, the on teleport activate and the on teleport cancel. We're going to fill those in a second. First thing we need to take care of is the teleport toggle button. So what button are we going to press on our controller to activate our teleporter? Well, I think for me, what works quite well is pushing up on the thumbstick. So we're going to go ahead and click on our input action references. And you get a list of all the input actions that we've currently got. So on our right hand, we've got right hand activate, right hand grip. We don't want any of those. We have actually already got some built-in controls we can use. And those are the teleport mode activate and teleport mode select, which we'll see in a second. We want to activate our teleporter. So we'll go ahead and click teleport mode activate. Make sure it's the right hand and it's going to put it in there. And do the same for the left. The input action reference, click on there. We want the left hand teleport mode activate. If we click on that in the inspector, it's going to highlight the input action in the project window. Go ahead and click on that a second and it's going to bring up your input actions. And if you look under the left hand and the right hand, you can see it's got the teleport mode activate. If you drop on that down that box, you'll see we've got 2 buttons assigned to that input action. A primary 2D access and a primary button. Primary 2D access is already set up for us to use the right hand XR controller for the north direction, so when we push up, and that's already done for us, so we don't need to worry about creating a new input action. So when we push up on our thumbstick, we want to be able to turn off our direct interactor and activate our ray interactor that we're using for teleport. So we need to do 3 things. So on teleport activate, click the plus button 3 times. And on teleport cancel, click the button 3 times. And in our first slot here, we're going to drag in our right hand direct interactor. And on the bottom 2, I'm going to drag in the ray interactor. So when we activate our teleport, we want to turn off our right hand direct interactors input actions. So we can go down to XR direct interactor and go bool enabled. So we click on our ray interactor, we drop down the list and we want to go to action based controller and we want to enable those input actions. So find bool enable input actions and we want to turn them on. You can see at the moment, if we highlight our ray interactor, we turned off the enable input actions, so they're not on by default because we're using a direct interactor. So we're going to turn them on our teleport toggle. But we also need to turn on, if you have a look, we also need to turn on the ray interactor. So we go back to our right hand, go right hand, ray interactor, and we're going to select the XR ray interactor and go bool enabled. It's just that. And turn that on. And for the on teleport cancel, we need to do exactly the opposite as we've done for the activate. So we drag in our right hand direct interactor and then we want the 2 ray interactors on the bottom. We want to turn on our bool enable input actions And we also want to turn off our ray interactors, so we're going to action-based controller, ball enable input actions, that's going to be off. And then we want to turn off our ray interactor, so we go down to XR ray interactor, ball enabled, and that'll be off as well. Oh, and we need to make sure that we're turning on the enable input actions for our direct interactor. And I actually made a mistake looking at it. So on teleport activate, it shouldn't be XR direct interactor enabled. We only want to turn off the input actions. So we're going to go down to select the top one for on teleport activate. It's action-based controller, ball enable input actions. And we're just going to turn off listening for input actions on that direct interactor. So let's do the left hand just so we're clear what's going on. Starting afresh again. Exactly the same. Create 3 empty events in each, like so. And on the left hand, we want to turn off our direct interactor and then drag the ray interactor to the 2 bottom ones, like so. And then the same for the on teleport cancel. We're going to drag in our direct interactor to the top and the ray interactor to the bottom 2. On teleport activate, we want to stop listening for input actions on that controller. So we're going to go to ball enable input actions and make sure it's off. And we want to turn on our ray interactor. So we go ball enable input actions and make sure that's on. And then make sure the ray interactor is on as well. So XR ray interactor, ball enabled. And completely the opposite for the bottom one. Action-based controller, ball enable input actions, make sure it's on. Then we want to disable our input actions for the ray interactor. So we go to the action-based controller and ball enable input actions, which will be off. And then we want to turn off our XR ray interactor. So ball enabled, like so. So all we're doing there is toggling off our ray interactor and our direct interactor when we're pressing the thumbstick. So I appreciate that sounded quite tricky. So feel free to go back and just refresh yourself if you got a little bit lost on that. But it really is just a question of wiring up these little bits and pieces, and then that's all you need to do. The script should take care of the rest for you. So let's go ahead and jump into VR and test this is working. Go ahead and hit play. I'm only going to hold my headset for the second. Let's pick up a controller. You can see it on the screen, and then when I press up on the thumbstick, like so, you can see that it's activating a ray interactor and turning it off when I let go, which is pretty cool. So let's see what's going on. So if I highlight the ray interactor, see that enable input actions is currently off on that ray interactor. When I press up, the event fires in the script and turns it on for us. And it's going to be the same for actually turning on that script too, off and on. And that's all powered by our Unity events here. So let's double check it's working with the left hand. There it is. There we go. Perfect. So that's all running. Nice. Now let's go ahead and add in some teleport points. So we're going to go XR. For a minute, let's just do the teleport anchor. You could do the teleport area as well, which allows you to move pretty much wherever you want in that space. Because we're making like a kind of escape room game, kind of like the Room VR, which a game I really love. You had very specific areas you teleported to. And that's kind of what I was thinking for this. So we'll go ahead and create a teleportation anchor. I'm going to drop it in the scene. Initially, it's going to be massive, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead. I'm just going to make that teleportation anchor a bit smaller, not massive. And let's take a quick look at what's going on here. So this works, the teleportation anchors work with the ray interactors, which is why we're having to toggle them on and off. And as you can see under the teleportation configuration, we've got the teleportation trigger here, which is on select exited. So the button on our controller that's linked with select, the input action, when that is released, that's when we're going to teleport, as long as you're currently highlighting the teleport point. So if you look at our ray interactors, let's go to the right hand ray interactor. Our select at the moment is the XRI right hand select, which is the grip button on the XR controller. We don't want to have to press up our thumbstick and then the grip. So let's go ahead and wire that up now. So if you click on our right hand ray interactor, under the select action, we're going to change that to our teleport select. So right hand teleport select. Let's click on there and change it. If you click on it, it'll select the input actions. We can double check that in the input action manager. Let's see what our teleport select is. It's our primary 2D axis and our primary button. So when we've exited that, it's going to fire off our teleport. Let's go ahead and set up the left hand. Click on the ray interactor because that's the one we're using for teleport. Under select, change it for left hand teleport select. And that is our hand setup. So to finish off our teleporting, we need to go to our XR interaction manager and we're going to add in, we need a locomotion system, which needs to know about our XR origin. We're going to drag that in. And we also need a teleportation provider. We'll go ahead and whack that in. And that needs to know about our locomotion system. So we'll hook that in. Drag and drop. So adding these two scripts allows the teleportation magic to happen. So let's go ahead and double check this is all working okay. Jump back into VR quick. So up on the thumbstick, nothing to teleport to until we hit our teleportation anchors and see the line go white. We'll release the thumbstick and there we go, we teleport to that particular area. Cool. Nearly there. What we'll do next is on our XR interaction manager, I'm going to add in a snap turn provider just so we can use our thumbsticks to turn around, and it wants to know about the locomotion system, so we'll drag that in, and it wants our left hand snap turn action, so we'll say use reference, and we'll look on our left hand turn, which is just here, left hand turn, which is our thumbstick again, and right hand snap turn will be the same right hand turn for our right hand. So all we need to do now is duplicate that teleportation anchor, like so. Move it there. Now we've got two. And now, when we go into our scene, we can use our hands. Let's try our left one. Teleport over there. Teleport over there. Cool. And then using the thumbsticks, we can turn around left and right, have a look round, and actually start navigating around our scene. Cool. One problem with the XR, the way we've got it set up at the moment, is that when you toggle on the left-hand ray interactors, you're also going to be able to interact with any grabbable objects, which we don't want. So because these are specifically for teleporting, let's go down, 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 and change the interactor layer mask on our XR ray interactor to nothing. And then if you haven't, I've already put this in when testing. I've got a teleport layer, but you can go to add layer and type in teleport, and it will add it to the list. And then back on your XR ray interactor, you can change your interactor layer mask to teleport. You also want to uncheck keep selected target valid, because this is for teleporting, and it recommends turning it off if that's what you're using it for. And that's that one all set up. I'm going to do the same for the ray interactor on the right hand. So interaction layer mask, change to nothing, and then select teleport, and uncheck keep selected target valid. Now on our teleport anchors, because our ray interactors are interacting with a very specific layer, we only want them to interact with our teleporters. So under the teleportation anchor, where it's got interaction layer mask, change it from default to nothing, and then select your teleport. And do that for every single teleport point you have. Interaction layer mask, teleport. If you do that straight away, you'll see it also keeps the default. We don't want that, so we'll just uncheck. That's why I was going nothing and then selecting teleport. So it just should be on your teleport layer. And that's going to stop your ray interactors from interacting with any of your grabbable objects. So now we've got the teleportation up and running, we can go ahead and have a look at creating those nice Bezier curves that we're all familiar with in VR games, which look a lot better than the straight line. And you can do that under, if you select the right hand ray interactor, and under XR interactor line visual, you can change some of this to style the line a little bit. So where you got the valid color gradient, you can mess around with the colors. So like you can make it green, which is really cool. So once we've got a valid teleporter, our teleport's going to go green. And then invalid or default, you could give the default like blue to white one, which looks cool. If you go up to the XR ray interactor, where it's got raycast configuration and the line type, change that to Bezier curve and do the same for the left hand. So XR ray interactor, change it to Bezier curve and the line type, and then you just change the colors again from use your green color and then use the blue gradient for the valid color. Let's take a look, see what we got. Cool. You can see there I highlight my teleport. I've got my Bezier curves working now. As soon as I interact with that teleport point, I'm able to jump there and then turn around, let's do it with the left hand, and back we go. Very cool. And I've still got my direct interactors which I can pick things up and interact with. If I had any grabbable objects in the game, as soon as I want to teleport, push up on the thumbstick and teleport around my environment. You can also create a reticule on your teleport point, or if you had like a teleport area, it would follow you around. So a reticule is just something on the ground to show you where you're going to teleport to. And to do this, you can create a 3D object, create a cylinder. Let's put it at 0, 0, 0. Press F to zoom in. Don't need the glider, so you take that off. You can make it squish, so it's a bit smaller. Put any material you want on it. I've got a green reticule material I made here. It's just a standard material. Give it a name. Call this reticule. And drag it into a prefabs folder that you've got. And then you can delete it. And then under your teleport anchors, you can set a custom reticule. So you can drag your prefab in there for your reticule. And I'm going to do that for the same for the other one. And then when you teleport, you've got a cool little circle that pops up. And it's a bit big at the moment, but you get the idea. That could literally be anything. It could be like a pair of shoes or whatever art you like to show where you're going to be teleporting to. So there we are. So far in our escape room game, we've got our environment set up. We've got our XR interaction system set up. And now we can actually teleport around our environment using the thumbsticks on the controllers by toggling off the direct interactor and toggling on the ray interactors. All controlled through a very simple script and leveraging the power of the Unity event system. So in the next one, I want to start looking at some puzzles that we can do for this escape room game. So I thought it'd be cool if you had 5 minutes to try and figure out how to escape the lab, because the lab has malfunctioned and you've only got 5 minutes to get out the door before the equipment explodes. So what we'll do is we'll think of some puzzles that we can use using the XR interaction toolkit. So maybe I'll think of some puzzles within the next few days and then build them. And then we can construct these puzzles that you have to solve that gives you a clue to a code to open the door. But I really hope you learned something. And if you did, if you could leave a like on the video, that really helps me out. And a share and a subscribe always goes a long way as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.